Hello everyone, Teacher here and welcome back to another video. Today I want to take a look at what I would do if I started the game today on a fresh account. What would I do with my light side and what would I do with my shadow side? Who would I focus, who would I level, and who is worth farming? So if you're ready, let's take a closer look. Now I want to start off in the light campaign because this is the first thing you unlock. And I'm gonna be very honest. I would farm the Rohan free. I would farm Eothane every day. I would farm Eowyn. We're gonna get to her, and I would buy Eomer from the shop. Herondale could be worth it for a raid because he's actually not that bad. So this is something you could consider if you don't know what to do with your energy. Then I would also farm him. Yevtu, at present time, I don't think I would farm Haradrim because they do require a lot of investment and they're not worth it at the moment. With a bomber change, they might score easy in Chapter 1, but that's raids and that's a little bit far away, but still we want to build towards a raid. So, Yevtu, at the moment, I wouldn't farm because you don't really need him for the shadow. If you do it, then that is, of course, up to you. Now, Chapter 2 light side. I would farm Mauher because Isengard is a very good team to open up with and they can carry you pretty okay for the elves later down the line. Nuras, I'm on the fence with. He is a passive healer and he does have a summon. And it works well in the raid, actually. There is a bug with him in raid chapter 2, but in chapter 3 he actually really helps a lot because he has his summon. So this could be worth an investment. Also, you get the armor essence charge, which really favors him for farming because you get a unit that you can use with some passive heal, and the armor essences you need them. So he could be there. I would be on the fence. I would have to restart and honestly try, but I think if I wanted to build really long-term gold, I wouldn't do Nuras. Maybe from time to time for my armor essences if I really wanted to farm it a lot, but other than that, I probably wouldn't build him. Lomian I would farm, and the reason why I would farm him is because you never know when Elrond comes available down the line. Yes, he's second pass, I wouldn't be able to get to it, but still, I would farm his shards. I probably wouldn't level him though, but I would farm him. And when we get to chapter 3, this is the last one we're going to be focusing on, because after this it becomes a little bit difficult. But get it out of the way, I would farm Frodo every day. I would also probably farm Rockma. He's very easy, has a double AoE. That means he actually helps you a lot in a raid chapter 1, and to score well in one chapter is what I would be building towards instead of all 3 or at that point 4 chapters, because a high score in chapter 1, which should become easier, would be really nice, and that gives you a more reward which you can then invest back into your team and get the rewards. So that was light side campaign, the first 3 chapters. Let's go look at the shadow side. Shadow is it is what it is. Dunhor I would farm every day along with Mauher, and Arklok when we get to him can basically carry you quite a long way with a 3-star if you invest into them, you farm them, you gear them, especially also with the star changes. They're great for a chapter 2, not that much else. However, if we get the bombers change, which will be 5 stacks, there is both Arklok and Mauher that has their combo attacks which inflicts 2 stacks. That could be something that's really good. It remains to be seen, but he's a nice healer and I like the Isengard team. I would farm him. When we come to Eowyn, I would also farm her. I might actually start farming her soon just to get that 4-star because it's really close. Fro, no. Very easy. I don't want to build dwarves at present time. This is Grimlords. I wouldn't farm him actually. The vest you get from Mauher, and at the moment Isengard. They're really good also in this in the actual campaign. They can help you freestar a lot, especially with Ironhide when we get to him as well. Morsha you could farm instead of Nuras because there is an Isengard potential here, and he does offer assist. He dispels Banes on you, and he also clears some boons on the enemy, so that could be a good investment. I wouldn't put him high on my priority. I would prioritize Ugluk and Dunhar first. And yeah, then there's Ara. If you want to build a full Gondor squad, farm her. I wouldn't do it. Not for the chapters, not for progression, not for arena. I wouldn't do that. Chapter 3, this can be a little bit difficult sometimes. Leliel, if you want to be a free-to-play, I would advise farming her, also because there's a lot of characters that need turquoise, so you would farm her. That's why I didn't farm the Dunland at present time that we saw in the Heart chapter on the light side, chapter 3 there. Then we have Ushan, which also I wouldn't really do. Rogma offers you the same and offers more for raid, so I would go over there. And then I would farm Mary, which I'm also doing, because Road to Rivendell will be good. It will be good for a long time, and at present time, it is worth it. Now, it does take a little bit before you can unlock this, but it is what it is. So that was Light and Shadow side. So I would farm the Rohan 3, I would farm some Elves, and then I would farm Isengard. And your gems that you get every day, I would actually invest them into, at present time, what is offering the most. I would value Rohan over Isengard. I would actually do a refresh on Eowyn and Eothane. Eothane isn't that great of a tank, but he does have a lot of good things for his kit. Also for raids, he can give counter attack, he can taunt, he can, and it's only a provoke. So if you get multiple taunters down the line, that's good. And also there's some turn meter, and his passive will be some health, and he inflicts expose. That's also really good. Now here you get the hardest choice that you want to go for. Oglug is really nice. He's a very solid tank. That is really great. However, what I would farm first, I would actually farm Ironhide. That's not really a discussion, because he will help you carry your Shadow campaign, and with a 4-man squad you can actually invest into them, so you don't even need to do Edric. Isengard 3 and Ironhide can actually cover it, and then as a 5th I would do Morsha because Isengard. So I would unlock Ironhide, and then I would farm Pippin, because you need a healer. That's really good for some of the daily challenges, and also just in general he's really nice. And again, Road to Rivendell, which has scored a 900k in our raid. And let's do chapter 2. And you want to kind of do that. And if you want to build, if you want to farm elves, then of course you can farm Neramiri. She should be very good for chapter 3, so she is also viable there. I wouldn't do goblins. I'm sorry. I know there are goblin fans out there, but I wouldn't do it. And then chapter 3, of course, when you get that, you should have your Pippin and your Ironhide and Neramiri to at least 3 or 4 star. I would say Ironhide, if you get them all to 4 star, then go Ironhide to 5, then Pippin. We don't know if there will ever be a third pass on Elrond, or how he will become unlocked in the future. There might be just some permanent events from him, or he might come back every 3 months. But I would focus Pippin and Ironhide, and when I have chapter 3 unlocked, I would go for Elrohir, because Elrohir is amazing for basically anything. He's really good, he's solid DPS, and he would help you out in arena if you at that time wanted to switch to some elves. I would expect there might be a new meta for arena later this year, but Rohan is actually a very friendly free-to-play team. So that was the campaigns, what I wanted to do there. Now, if you are a light spender and you want to buy some gems, you could actually invest into Troll Brood, which it's called, but its real name in game is Groher the Brood Troll Brute is what it was called before. You could farm him. He's if you get him built, he's massive. There's AoE, there's Smite, there's Daze. Like he is slow, but he hits like a truck. And when I see him on a defense team, if I can see he's well built, I actually go away from it. I'd rather face a 10k Ironhide than I would a 7k Gruher, because Gruher is just so massive. His AoE is so frequent, he is just very good. He can dispel on his basic if you build him up. You could also, with your gems, go for Halbarad. And that's basically what I would have to say about the gem shop. Here, Haradrim proved to be a disappointment, so if you were to go for Halbarad, I would go for Miri. Otherwise, you could go Wubate for a tank later down the line. He is Shadow and he does have AoE, which is nice. So you could build that for Chapter 1, but same can go for Miri, and Miri can go with Halbarad really nicely, and Elver here. And then you have Free Rangers. Here, I love Bulk. I really love Bulk. As you can see, he's at 27. I even bought his offer back when it was around. Did the same with Halbarad. That was to get the unlock. But Bulk I really used. I really liked him. And then I slowly farmed him. And then at some point when the star changes came, I had to switch over to Halbarad because he's just so good and he could be a nice lead in the future and everything. I would deem Halbarad the superior one also because he has a heal. And he has a taunt. Bulk doesn't have a guaranteed taunt. He does. He can inflict weak-minded. Bulk has some other good utilities, but it's neck and neck. I would, however, give the advantage to Halbarad on long-term longevity for arena, raids, etc. And also, it's very nice to have a healer like this in your light side campaign. Here, there's an argument to be made for Shakrath, but you already have your 5 shadow side. Eomer for the Rohan 3, he's really nice. He's really good for most things. Like he's good for Chapter 3, he's good for Chapter 1, he's good for Chapter 2. Rohan 3 is really good free to play for raids, and you want to build for that in the future. No character charts here, so we're not gonna discuss this. Now, what would I do when I actually have my characters unlocked? I would focus until level 30. You can basically level up multiple teams. Because it doesn't cost you that much. However, I would stick to those I have mentioned. Build your team around that. Only level 5 light, 5 shadow. And I wouldn't level when I don't need, like if I am locked by a level requirement for the next chapter, then I would only level an arena team, like keeping it current, and any team I would need for raid. And when I say raid, as a new player that's free to play, Chapter 1. I would only level Chapter 1 in raids. So I could actually at some point unlock difficulty 2 and difficulty 3. Strider I would also invest into, who is free to play, and with the road to Rivendell and everything, he's great. So Strider, the Rohan 3, and Pippin. If I were to do my 5 light side that I would invest into, those are the 5 that I would do. Later down the line, you could swap some out for Merry and Frodo. However, once at that point you've already invested and you keep farming Rohan, I might actually just stick to them, because that would unlock difficulty 2 for raids and difficulty 3 later faster. However, difficulty 2 I would bring up to around level 40. Of course, as you can see here, my road to Rivendell can't do 300 yet, so that would require some investment. My Rohan also can't at the moment, but that's because I haven't leveled the abilities that much. So, if I were to choose for also for raids and arena, like road to Rivendell requires so much. Their abilities become really good when they are level 3 or level 4. Early game, I would go more for the Rohan. And as you move into chapters in a raid and you are available there, Rohan and Road to Rivendell, and I would maybe leave my shadow side a little bit on the sideline, because it is actually not that great at the moment in raid. That might change, An Isengard, yes, if you really like them, build them, but I would, for saving my resources, only build a Rohan and a Road to Rivendell because I could use that in raid. But if I were to invest into anything, that would be like all my resources. That would be my arena team that I would also be able to use in raids. So to summarize, Eisen Isengard 4 with Ironhide could be your shadow side. For light side, it could be your Rohan 3 along with a Pippin when you have him unlocked, and a Strider. I know some of us level Frodo a little bit. I think I left mine at that time at level 18 when I was able to swap him out for something else in light side campaign. But that's basically how I would go. And Rohan is also human, so you can really use them in your challenges for your rewards. These over here that are cycling, you get more out of Rohan than you do Road to Rivendell, so do keep that in mind as well. So that was basically what I would do if I were to start over, and I hope this guide has been very helpful, or it has given you some thinking, stuff to think about and consider. Also, if you want to recommend this game, then I would recommend them to my channel. I try to post video basically at least every second day, and I try to cover everything from a pay to win perspective and also a free to play, because most people are free to play. So that's it. If you have any comments, then leave them down below and drop a like and share this video out there. See you all in the next video.